And hello, everybody. Welcome. I hope my mic is on. It is on. Welcome to. It says the post show, but hey, we are doing the pre-show. Let me change it while we're doing that. Folks, look, we've got Alex and Grant from the channel here. Alex and Grant, how are you guys?
Oh, doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fun times.
Yeah, fun time. Sorry. Folks, I am dying inside because all the stuff again behind the scenes just tends to blow up whenever we go live. I'm trying to fix it all right now. But thank you for confirming that. Wes Lloyd, audio and video is A+ today. You know, I knew the video was going to be good because we've got these two gentlemen on the camera here. But the audio is always an issue. So thank you for confirming that. Grant and Alex, how is it going? What is new? This is, I believe, your first time on the R&R show. Is that for both of you? Is that correct?
Wow. Yeah, first time. Grant,
Okay.
Your first time?
This is my first time on the R&R show.
Look at us.
Wow.
I
Rookies.
swore I would never do it, and here I am.
You know what? You just couldn't turn down the big bucks when we sent you those coupons for your local Trader Joe's and said, "Come on over." Do
Hey,
this.
Trader Joe's coupons.
Yeah.
Friends in chat, thank you again for joining us. This is the pre-show, not the post-show. I'm going to change that in just a second. What you're watching is the R&R&R Show live. We do this every week or so. We do a Twitch live stream here on the Rahdo Runs Through channel. We do the R&R&R Show about once every other week. But this is a special one. We just did one last week. We're doing a special show today because we got to talk all things Gencon. And I just saw the calendar. Gencon's like, 10 days away? I'm freaking out. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. You know?
Oh yeah. I'm stoked, and I am not prepared mentally or physically.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to eat some salads.
It is. I will say, I mean, Gencon is really fun in a terrible for your health kind of way. Like,
Yeah.
it is true, man. Like, I'm never more exhausted after that thing than I am on it. Like, I mean, I'm just like, look at my days, you know, my first meetings at 8 a.m. and my last meetings at midnight sort of thing, like every day.
Oh, and it
Nice.
doesn't help that like the only food available is like pierogies, right? You know, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, sure. I'm just gonna have a beer and a bratwurst for lunch, and that's gonna be totally fine to get me through the rest of the day.
Hot tip, honestly, one of the things I do is I go to a grocery store on Wednesday and I put a bunch of stuff in my backpack.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always make it a point to throw in, like, I get a bunch of bananas and granola and stuff, and that'll be in my bag. And then, you know, as we're going through the con and stuff, it's always, hey, I'm going to be healthy. And sure enough, by the end of the con, I've got a bag of rotten bananas. And what are you going to do?
Happens to the best of us, you know. And I don't want it to sound like I'm dissing pierogies or bratwurst. Like I'm doing that out of my own volition, right? I understand what I'm doing to my body, and I'm choosing to make that choice, right? This is why I need to eat a salad preemptively.
Yeah. Good call, Alex.
Oh.
GeoGriff, thank you for the follow. I appreciate y'all. Folks, we're kicking off a hype train here. What is a hype train? Glad you asked, Ruel. A hype train is here on Twitch when people start subscribing, spending bits and whatnot. All that goes to support the channel, folks. So we appreciate y'all. Hype train has just completed level 2, so y'all get free emotes. Check out your screen right there. And we're going to be doing that throughout the show. Just hang out with us, enjoy, have a good time. And we're going to be talking all things Gen Con. Before we came up live here, I was talking to Alex and Grant behind the scenes, talking about when we're going to get into the convention, you know, coming in, like, it starts Thursday officially, but of course we're here early. Grant, you mentioned starting meetings at 8 a.m. going until midnight. I started doing this thing where I create a spreadsheet for my schedule, and it was great. Everything's like totally organized, and I looked at it the other day. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to eat that day. There's just...
Yeah. I mean, that's why you got to have that stuff in your backpack, because it's true, man.
Yeah.
Like I had somebody reach out to me yesterday, and it was like, we'd love to meet. And I'm like, I've got Saturday at 5:15 and Thursday at 10:17 a.m. Can you do either of those?
And it's like 5:15 to like 5:25, right? You know, it's like, I got 10 minutes, and it takes me 8 minutes to walk across the floor to get to your booth. So I don't know what
If
to tell you.
anybody's late, I'm screwed. All right?
Yeah,
The
totally.
whole day back.
And I don't know about you guys, Alex, do you have this problem? Like when you schedule meetings with publishers, like I use their Calendly invites or whatever. You know, we're all on the West Coast. When I get out there, all of a sudden things have changed, and I'm like, wait, I thought this was 8 a.m. Now it says my calendar is at 5 a.m. Like, I'm not meeting anyone at 5 a.m., you know?
100%. I was just going to say that. I was literally just doing that. I have to double, triple check every time, because when you go into Calendly, half of them will be like, oh, yeah, these meetings are Pacific time. And then half of them will be like, we've already ported it over to Eastern time. And I'm like, I literally have no idea when any of these are. And I've rescheduled like 5 meetings already just because I overbooked things because I messed up.
Yeah. I'll tell you though, that's on the publisher. That's not on us.
Yes.
Because you can lock the time zone on the calendar. Why aren't you doing that?
Yep.
You gotta lock those time zones. All right. That ain't my fault. You know you're gonna be in the East Coast. You know all of these are on the East Coast time. Lock your calendar.
Yes, agreed. You hear that, publishers? Grant says lock those calendars.
That's right.
That's I agree. So we're going to Gen Con next week. It's going to be insane. But, you know, overall, I mean, you know, again, this is before we jumped on live here. We were talking about at the end of the day, at the end of the convention, I mean, it's always a fun time, but just very tiring, you know. And I sort of did some pre-Gen Con warm-ups, friends. So this last week here in Southern California was San Diego Comic-Con. So I went down there, and you know what? Hey, after I just went for 2 days, and after 2 days, my feet hurt, so I'm ready for Gen Con. You know?
Yeah,
it's like marathon training.
Totally. So, are you both going to be there the entire Gen Con? And what else you got? What else you got planned at the con, Grant?
Well, I'll be doing a few shows there, doing stuff. So I'm one of the presenters for the Dice Tower Awards. And
Nice.
so I'm going to do some stand up on the Dice Tower Awards show. And then DeVere does this fun thing that I've actually done at other festivals with them where they call it DeVere Fest. And they basically rent out a place, have a bunch of their games on the tables. When you get there, you get a free beer, you get to hang out and play DeVere games. And so I'll be doing some stand-up at that one as well. Both of those are on Thursday night. Doing some other live streams and some panels. Alex and I are doing a TikTok panel together. So if you're interested in like making content about board games on TikTok, you should definitely come to our panel. I can let Alex talk more about that too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're doing a panel called "A Creator's Guide to Finding Your Niche" on TikTok and Instagram and different social medias and stuff like that. So that should be good. We've got a couple of other really cool TikTok folks as well joining us. Casey from Brain in a Jar. Nice. We've got Alex from Board Games and Mondo from Games by Mondo joining us. So yeah, we're just gonna hash it out, talk about some of our stories, talk about how we got to where we are, you know, any tips and tricks and strategies and things like that we would recommend, and we'll probably field some questions at the end there. So it's gonna be a good time, and you know, we'll probably hand out some swag if we got it. So nice. I don't want to promise anything, but it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm still new to the TikTok world. I'm you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I'm so out of date. Like I call it click clock. I don't know what TikTok is. It's click clock. But, you know, just, I mean, not to spoil anything for the panel, but just a real general, like if someone wanted to say, hey, I'm interested in jumping into it, what's like the first or the biggest thing that you tell them about TikTok or board game TikTok specifically?
Sure. Grant, you want to go or you want me to go?
You can go. I'll jump in that too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the biggest thing that I always tell people is like, it's any type of social media like that just rewards consistency. So the more consistent content that you make, the better off you'll be. Like for me, when I started doing it full time or whatever in September last year, like I said, hey, I'm just gonna make one TikTok every day for a year and see where it gets me, right? You know, and I've been doing that for a year, and you know, I've seen a lot of success because of that. So consistency, and also having a little bit of a strategy in there of like what you're posting and when, you know, and that kind of comes with the analytics and the territory there. But generally, just committing to posting even when you don't feel like it, even when it's difficult, even when, you have to plan ahead and get all that stuff going. Like, there's a lot to be said for just showing up on people's For You pages,
Yeah, and I would also say engaging with your audience too. Like, not only is that responding to comments, it's also doing video replies to people's questions. You constantly get people being like, hey, I'm looking for a game I can play with my 10-year-old. Do you have anything? And like actually being useful to the community, where you're like, respond to those comments. Those are people, those are hopefully new gamers right there. They're like, I've played Ticket to Ride. What else is good? That sort of stuff. So I think, I agree with all of the stuff Alex said, and then also I would add engage with your audience there.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, folks. So be sure to check out that panel. When is the panel at Gencon, guys?
The panel is on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, I want to be clear. Eastern time. So, definitely check that one out. We got a couple of tickets left. It's going to be a good time.
Cool. I want to shout out everyone in chat. Thank you again for hanging out with us. DJ Fox, Pre Bissolo, Westaloid, Flying Dutch Rocker. Thank you for resubscribing. Your support means a lot. The Sea Otter as well. Knight to E4. Appreciate you. Thanks for all the follows as well. Next to the Moon, De La June. I hope I'm saying that right. Geo378. Blind 1D, 3D, and a bunch of other folks who've followed in the recent days. Thank you again for all your support. We appreciate you. We're going to have some fun today. What you're going to see today, folks, we're going to be doing our Gencon preview show. We're going to kick that off in about 20 minutes or so. We record that live on Twitch, so we get to interact with y'all in the audience right now until we start recording the show. We do the recording, and then afterwards, we have time. We're going to do some Q&A as well. So please be sure to stick around. We actually have one question here in chat for Grant. Grant, let's see, who was it? Peter G. Evans asks regarding the shows you do at Gencon. Grant, do you have to come up with unique sets for each of those?
So, no, they are not fully unique sets. They're not fully unique shows, but it is very important to me to be in the moment. And so they are different shows, if that makes sense. Like, I will probably do some of the same jokes, but when I'm doing the Dice Tower Awards, I'm going to make a joke about about Dice Tower and about awards, and stuff like that, which I'm not going to do at the next show, sort of thing like that. So it's important to me. I mean, that's why you go see anything live, is because it's something that will never happen again. And so it's important for me to know, for people, the audience, to know that I'm like in the moment with you, and they're experiencing with you in real time as well. So not unique shows, but different shows.
I was going to say, that would be really hard and a ton of work if you had to do something for everything, right?
I will say, so I've been doing this, board game comedy hour at a bunch of conventions and stuff, and it's really fun to do. But I have had some people go, hey, do you have a new show this year? And I'm like, no, I can't write an hour on one very specific topic a year. Like, there's like 20 new minutes or something like, so there is different. You will see some new jokes, but I'm not a machine. I can write a new hour when it's just like, I can talk about anything, but it's not that easy when it's a hyper specific topic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You need a team.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, thank you, Grant. And thank you, Peter G. Evans, for the question. Folks, usually I have the questions and comments pop up on screen, but of course OBS is not, being nice today. So, we've had those problems in the past, so we're used to it by now. Magic Nerd says, I caught a bug in the last week, so hopefully my immune system is firing on all cylinders come Gen Con. Yeah, that's the thing, folks. Stay hydrated, eat those vitamins and get some rest. But we all know during cons, that never happens. Rest, sleep. What is that?
Yeah.
Alex, do you sleep well at cons? What's your secret to getting through these things?
That's a good question. I mean, when I was at Origins, a couple of weeks ago, right? And my goal was to have a vegetable with every meal that I ate, which I don't actually know if that did anything good for me. If I have a lobster roll with like a little sprig of parsley on top, because that still counts. But at the same time, I was like, in my mind, I was like, all right, this is working. This is working for me. The sleep, the sleep. I mean, I have a 2.5-year-old at home, so I'm like, I don't sleep much anyway. So we're just riding on that like 5 hours maybe if we're lucky, So we're just kind of chilling. And I say, you can sleep when you get home. I sleep all right on the plane, so I'll get my time back in when I go back to the West Coast, so it's all good.
I'm so jealous of that. I travel so much, and I cannot sleep on planes at all.
Yeah.
Like
I usually get distracted. My problem is I can sleep on a plane, but they got so many good movies that I haven't seen, and I'm just like, man, I kind of want to do that. So, yeah,
I'm the same way. Like taking a red eye scares me because there's no way I'd be even to sleep on that. I'm just restless or whatever. I wish I could sleep on the plane.
Yeah, the problem is like I can sleep on a plane, sure, but like, is it good sleep? No, it feels like fake sleep. It's like, oh, sure, I can like check off the box that I slept tonight, but like none of it was restful. I didn't get the REM. I don't know what's going on.
Mean Pamela says hi, Chili, and she says being able to sleep on a plane is something you should put on your resume. I think so. 100%.
I think so, for sure.
Also want to shout out Linnaeus Cabal. She says, do you need me to be a food buddy for you again, Ruel? Yes. Linnaeus, she saved me at PAX Unplugged last year. I was running around. She made sure I was fed the entire time. So, yeah, Linnea, I'll be hitting you up for that for sure. Thank you. So Board Game Bree's in the house. Hello, Board Game Bree. Welcome. Good to see y'all. We're hanging out doing the pre-show for the R&R&R Show, or as I like to call it, the R&R&R Show. We've got Alex and Grant, fellow contributors to the channels, but they also do their own fantastic work as well. You could check the show notes that are going to be put up here real soon for their links and everything. And someone had put in comment that, this is usually Ruel, Rahdo, and or Chris George of Room and Board, but today with Grant and Alex, we've got Ruel, Alex, Grant, aka the Rag Show. So there you go, folks. Unofficial
Bringing the ragtime, baby.
Ragtime.
It's good. Riches come next for you. Rags to riches.
There you go. Hey,
yeah.
I like that. Richard is going to be on later, so it's Rags to Richards.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, perfect.
Now we're talking.
Alex, you've been, you had the Rod Father, now you have the Rags to Riches. I mean, come on, man. You should name everything on this show, man.
I'm just learning from the best. Grant.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Yes, agreed. Wow, what else do we got to chat about? We've got Gencon coming up. Anything, without getting spoilers, anything y'all got coming up on your own projects or channels that you want to share coming up soon, or even here on the Rahdo channel?
Mm-hmm. I'm going over to Richard's house tomorrow.
Oh.
I started doing that when we did the first one we did was the expeditions video, and I did like a teach and a run through with him. That was the first one that I had done on the channel, but it was a good time. And he actually only lives about 25 minutes away from me here in Portland, Oregon. So I'm going to his house tomorrow to teach him 2 new games for the channel, and they'll be going up eventually. I'm not sure exactly when, but they'll be going up within the month, I think. And
nice.
So, I'm just getting my rules teach in line and making sure I'm ready. Make sure my shirt is clean and ironed and everything, and we're ready to go.
Nice. Yeah, I really liked the one you did for Expedition. I thought it was great, and people called it the Rahdo Learns video, right? Mm-hmm. It was really cool to see that. I think it's a welcome addition to the channel. So kudos to you, Alex, for doing that.
It was fun.
Cannot wait to see the next one. Grant, anything you got going on soon here?
Well, on the channel, I do like a fun monthly video on my top games of the month, and I play probably about 25 new games every single month. So, the top 5 is actually pretty good. That's a good list of games.
Yeah.
It's you got in the top 20%, sort of stuff. And then other than that, I'm always around doing stuff. I know I'll be at the World Series of Board Gaming. I'll be doing my stand-up show there at the World Series of Board Gaming. So
cool.
Come to that.
Were you there last year at the World Series? Grant?
I was not there.
Okay, I was not either, but I will be there as well. So I'm definitely going to catch your set. Are you going to be playing games as well? Like, are you participating in the
I will be playing games. I will not be in the tournament.
Okay.
So
yes,
tournament seems stressful.
Yeah, well, and I'm also crazy competitive, and I have to turn off that part of my brain to play games with people. And if you add stakes, I'll be a jerk. Like,
yeah. You know? I definitely feel that as well.
Yeah, it's I was a college athlete. It's just I had to like step away from that for a while because I was like being the jerk when I was like in my. After I left college and then I was like playing pickup games with people, I was like, oh, I'm the one nobody likes here.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
yes, that's not a good realization for sure.
It's funny, like my game group in Los Angeles is one of my college soccer teammates, and then a couple of other college athletes. We all play games like once a week together or twice a week when we can. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys was like, I can't imagine Grant getting mad. He's always so nice. And the other guy was like, are you kidding me? Grant's one of the biggest jerks I know when he wants to be. You just don't see that side of him here.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Danielle Standring was like, I'm really trying to get you drunk at a convention so I could see this.
The Jekyll and Hyde thing, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Board Game Bree says, hope to be at World Series as well. We'd love to see there, Bree. DJ Fox asks, how many games do you own that you have not played, Alex and/or Grant?
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's.
I'm at over 100 now.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is like when you start doing content, people start sending you a lot of stuff, and I'm very lucky. I feel very grateful, and I am not complaining about it at all. But there are people who send you things because they've sent you something in the past, and you're like, oh, I didn't have any plans to cover this, or like I'll try to get played, but that list keeps rising so much. I was talking to Alex from Board Game Co. Last weekend, or not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I was at a convention with him, and he was telling me he played 380 games for the first time in 2022, and he decreased his shelf of shame by 5 games.
No. Hey, at least that's a win. That's a net win right there.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 games, right? That's a win. A win is a win, right?
Totally.
And look, I have games on my haven't played list that I would love to play, like that I've been wanting to play. I've never played Dice Throne. I have Dice Throne there on my shelf of shame.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Good stuff.
For sure.
I know I've got at least 100 unplayed games, if not more. And literally just the other day showed up at the door the Castles of Burgundy's Super Deluxe version.
Nice.
And I can't wait to play it, but I'm sitting there like, I have no idea what I'm going to play. It's definitely going to be after Gencon. I'm thinking maybe a month and a half after Gencon I'll have some time. But, it's the life we chose, friends.
Yeah, it's true. It's like you can't complain. You can't complain. But I feel like, we probably put a little bit of our statistics are a bit higher than the typical person, right? If you have as many unplayed games as we have and you're not making content, then maybe you should say something about that. I don't know.
You have a problem. Thinker Themers in the house. Hi, Amy and Maggie. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you here, friends.
I just got to hang out with them at a convention too. Great people.
I love Amy and Maggie. They're just wonderful people. I cannot.
Yeah, they really screwed me over in a game of Feed the Kraken, and I don't know if I'll ever forget them.
Oh, I love them even more now. Thank you, Maggie. Let's see. Wes Lloyd says, I've worked super hard this year to buy almost nothing. Shelf of Shame is down to about 25 games. Hey, that's wonderful. I love hearing that. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm jealous.
Matt Sir's asking, speaking of, has Grant ever played Shake That City?
No, I demoed it, but I haven't played a full game. You know, when we're at these conventions, a lot of times we get an opportunity to see stuff that's coming out. And so, you know, I think I played like 2 or 3 turns of Shake That City, but didn't have a chance to play a full game of it. It's cool, though. I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
True story. When I was demoing it, I sort of broke the little shaker thing because I pressed it way too. I was like, "Do you press it here?" And then I just crushed the demo copy of it, and I was like, "Oops, man. That's not where you're supposed to press, guys." That's not where you're supposed to press.
Am I correct in assuming that Madster321 is Mads, the designer of Shake That City?
Oh, it probably could be. Mads, please let us know.
So don't say anything bad about it.
Yeah. It's a great game, but yeah, it is called Shake That.
Cool.
Yeah,
I want to play a full game of it for sure.
And Mads has confirmed. Good call, Alex. That is the designer of Shake That City. Speaking of Shake That City, folks, just a real quick commercial for you. I'll be playing it tomorrow on my live stream. Nice. Michelle and I, and it's my 3rd year anniversary on Twitch, folks. So please come on over. We're doing a marathon stream all day. We're giving away a bunch of prizes. Including, we're going to be playing Shake That City as well. And just a reminder, it's called Shake That City, Grant, not Smash That City.
I know. it was like, you're supposed to push up here to like get the cubes out, and I pressed down on it. I don't know what I was thinking.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
What about you, Alex? How's your Shelf of Shame looking these days? Or Shelf of Opportunity?
Yeah, Shelf of Opportunity. It's actually not terrible. I don't think I have quite 100. I'm probably at like, I don't know. I'm looking around me. I'm like, so we moved into this new house earlier this year, and they had these built-in shelves, which are behind me now, they were great, and they fit board games perfectly. So I don't even need to have like a Calyx or anything, which was fantastic, right? It also happens to be in the laundry room, which I don't want to talk about, but we're working on that, situation, right? So it smells really great in here. I'll tell you that much, at least. It smells like fresh laundry, which is nice, but I definitely have more games than laundry in here, which is, which is a plus. Probably around like 50 or 60 is what I'm guessing. But I'm sure after Gencon, I'm going to spike that number despite my best efforts.
Yeah. It's funny. You all ever look back at like, before you got into, making content on a regular basis? Like, I remember when I first got in the hobby, like, I would have, like, freaked out knowing there's, like, 100 unplayed games in my house. I'd be, like, so fired up and excited. Not that I'm not excited now, but it's a different type of excitement, leaning more towards stress, I think. Yeah, it's such a different feeling to be in the game.
I mean, I legitimately do feel guilty about some of this stuff because I'm like, look, this game looks cool, and I want to play it. I just haven't had time. Like, it's just hard to play everything.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's just not enough hours in the day, right? And I'm thinking,
and not enough people that are obsessed like you are.
Yeah,
that's the biggest problem for me.
Same. Yeah, like Michelle, she plays a lot of games with me, but there's a limit, to what she plays, and she prefers lighter, like Gateway Plus games. The heavier stuff, I'm definitely looking for my gaming buddies at that point. So. So everyone, thank you again for hanging out with us in chat. I see a lot of people here. Master says Grant Smash Hulk style. That was funny. Hope you take your next time.
Hello, Joe, as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Corthane says, good afternoon. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Grant and Alex. I've enjoyed your videos for a while now. With the 3 of you, this is going to be a winning stream. Thank you, Corthane. Very nice of you to say.
Thank you so much. That's
thank you. Thank you.
Let's see. Anything else in chat here? We've got Linnea saying, well, hey, I'm going to lug my big, heavy copy of Castle Burning to Gen Con, specifically play with you. Well, oh, thank you, Linnea. Yeah, I would absolutely play that with you. Thinker Themer says, here, hello. Also to Live Nice in LA, thank you so much for hanging out with us, folks. We're going to get going to the show in a few minutes here. Any other questions, let us know. And be sure to stick around for the post-show, because after we do our lists here, folks, we're going to be recording. We're going to share the games that did not make our final cut. So you get, like, this is the extended version. You're going to get all of our games. And I know for me, like, so I know I've got the behind-the-scenes stuff. A couple of mine have crossed over to Alex's and Grant's list, which I'm excited about. But
boy, I know one of my number one didn't get to make my list, so someone already picked it.
Yeah.
I bet you it was Richard.
It was probably Richard. Yeah, I have a feeling. Yeah. Let's see. Goblin. Hi, Goblin. They ask, do you have a go-to player color when playing, or do you just choose from the leftover after everyone else chooses?
It depends. If it's someone else's game and they're introducing it and I get to choose, I'll choose green. Green is my color.
All right.
Because they don't have a nice Cabernet maroon player color very often. That's the color of the channel, of course. Nice. But if I am the one introducing the game, then whatever. I'll just pick whatever color.
I never have a go-to color because I have seen too many times people be like, I'm always blue, and then we play a game, and they're like, oh, I'm not blue. I've been planning my whole turn for blue. And so I will never make that mistake. I'm a chameleon. I never know what I'm going to be.
I'm always yellow. If I can't get yellow, I don't play the game. That's it.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm making T-shirts. I'm making T-shirts for different player colors. So stay tuned on those.
Nice. Really? Oh wow,
yeah.
Cool. Well, I want a yellow shirt, or I don't want a shirt at all, Alex.
Okay, I got a yellow one. I got red, blue, green, yellow, and purple.
Nice. Imagine Eric says games that they will be investigating at Gencon: Lorcana, Wild West, and Freelancers. Spoiler alert: we may talk about one or more of those in the upcoming moments. So thank you for sharing. Let me see. What else we got? We got a few more minutes before we actually start recording. Folks, what you're going to see is us recording the YouTube video here live. So we will not be hanging out and chatting with y'all. We're just going to do the show. But stick around because afterwards we do Q&A. And as I said, we're going to be sharing all the games that made our lists combined. Richard is going to be joining us via the magic of video as well. Let me see. Anything else, Grant or Alex, before we get going here? Grant, you're a soccer player. The Women's World Cup.
Oh, yeah. I've been watching.
Yeah. I mean,
great.
I'm so fired up. I love... I don't play soccer, but I love football, watching football on TV.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And, a three-peat is unprecedented in all of World Cup, men's and women's. And so that would be pretty crazy. I'll tell you, I was more confident going into the last two World Cups than I am in this one for two reasons. One, I think the rest of the world has caught up a lot more. I mean, that's always been the hard thing with America in general, is just football is not as much a part of our overall culture as it is in Europe and South America. And now that Europe and South America is putting more money into women's football, they're progressing very quickly. A lot of those nations are progressing. So I don't think, while I still think we are among the favorites, I don't know, like last World Cup, I'm like, we are the favorite. We're the only favorite. And now I'm like, I think we are among a group of favorites. Yeah. And we'll see what happens. And then the other thing, right? This is a very young team. Like we've had a lot of turnover. We have 14 players making their World Cup debuts right now. So,
that's
not as experienced as we often are.
Yeah, that was one thing. I was Michelle and I were watching the other day, and we're like, "Oh my gosh! Like this team is really young." I mean, literally, there was I think it was Alyssa Thompson. She's only 18. I'm like,
for sure,
18 years old, and the world's biggest stage. That's got to be.
And there's insane. Plenty of 22, 23 year olds getting time as well. Yeah. I thought their game the other day. Did you watch that game?
I did. Yeah.
It's like, I thought they were wasteful with their chances.
Yeah.
We have to be better at finishing, and
Agreed.
That can be cleaned up, and we are capable of doing it. We just have to be more clinical in our finishing. And if we can be, because we were creating a lot of chances. We just weren't finishing them.
Right. I don't know. Did you watch the? And again, folks, this is the sports portion of the show, which I'm sure you're all tuned in.
Hey, sports is a game.
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The game last night between France and South Africa. Was it France and South Africa? Yeah. Was it France? Yeah. That team. Or was it? Am I thinking?
Was it Namibia? Was it? No, it was France and Jamaica.
Thank you. Like, France created a ton of opportunities, but they could not convert. And I was thinking the same thing with the Americans. Like, but that's again being young and new to the world stage. But I think it's good. You get these first couple of games under your belt during the group stage, and when it really counts, the knockout stage. Hopefully, that experience will ramp up everyone's games.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I don't care how we win as long as we win.
Exactly. So. Yeah.
I don't know. Brazil is looking pretty. I don't know if you saw that goal that Brazil scored. Oh my!
That was one of the best goals I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Any level of soccer.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Amazing. Wes Lloyd says, "I want this kind of in-depth color commentary at the World Series of Board Games."
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Can you? I don't know, Grant. Can you talk about what game you're covering at the World Series Board Game, or are you just there as a host?
Oh yeah. So I'm like I said, I'm not competing, but I am doing one of those where you can sign up and play a game with me and stuff. And so I'm actually gonna do like big group party games because so much of that is gonna be serious, right? So much of it is gonna be very strategic depth that I wanted to do like some big social stuff with people. So I think I'm playing Blob Party with a bunch of people, which is a new game from WizKids that comes out probably like right about now. I think it comes out later July. So if you haven't played Blob Party, it's a really, really fun big group game.
Nice.
It's got a little bit of like, it's like almost like cooperative green team wins a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
The way it works is there are two words that come up and everybody writes a response to that. And if you write the same response as somebody else, you become part of a blob. And now you have collective responses to future answers. And the goal is to get everybody into the blob by the end of by the seventh round.
Oh, that sounds fun.
That does sound
really
awesome.
Fun.
Wow.
It's one of those ones where I'm like, it's component limited to 8 players. And I think that's probably the worst thing about the game because I've played it with 20 people before and it's super fun with a huge group of people. So as long as you have like some extra dry erase pens and stuff to write on, you can play it with an unlimited amount of people.
Oh, nice. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
yeah.
What about you? What game are you running?
I'm not going to be running the game. I will be playing. I think I'm just sort of hanging out, doing the, pickup games, so to speak, just sort of hanging out. But I am going to be providing coverage for the Red Cathedral. So I'll be,
nice.
I'll be one of the commentators for Red Cathedral.
One of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, super excited about that. It's actually been a while since I played, so I need to brush up on my skills there and make sure I know what the heck I'm talking about. Or else
that is one of the funny things for like us that play so many games where people are like, "Can you teach that?" And I'm like, "I love that game. It has been 6 months since I played it, and I played 100 games since then."
Yeah.
So yes, I can, but give me 5 minutes to look at the rulebook.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a few 100%. Minutes so I can go watch the Rahdo run through and make sure I know how to play it.
100%.
Yeah, that's where I'm hoping like Alex has done Rahdo learns with Richard.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I'll be doing Red Cathedral. I'm gonna, a couple of weeks before I'll start, playing it again, just make sure I got the rules down and strategies and whatnot. Or else I'll just go there and talk about the World Cup, during the World Series of Board Game. We'll see. So why don't we get ready here, folks? What we're going to do, this portion of the show is going to be over. We're going to get to what we're here for, which is the top 12, I believe. Are we doing 12? Let's see. There's 4 of us times 3. Yeah. Okay, I can do math. I do the old school math. I do, carry the 1. Okay. So top 12 games of Gencon. These are the ones that the one thing, well, we'll talk about it when we start recording here, but these are the top 12 split between Grant, Alex, Richard, and myself. I'm going to pull this here. I'm going to do one quick thing, folks. Don't leave. Stay there. I want to make sure this intro is working, and I'm going to check it out right here.
Hey, everybody. This week's episode of the R&R&R Show is brought to you Priorities, a party game of absurd...
Okay. Did y'all see that? I hope you did, because I had a little thing. Okay, cool. Let's see. Goblin, can you confirm if you saw... Okay, saw and heard. Thank you, Wes Lloyd. Appreciate it, because I... Seriously, while we were doing this pre-show, while we're talking, I was uploading that video in the background, and it was being a little slow, and I was like, I hope this is the right video, and apparently it was, so that is a good thing. That would have been frightening, having the wrong video show up there. Let me see, where is this other screen? Sponsor. There it is. That's our sponsor. sorry, folks. Just give me a minute here as I play around with things. Grant and Alex, chat for just a minute while I do this, please. And
oh, you mean we have to riff? We have to riff with one another?
Vamp, as we call it, right? Vamp, please.
Oh man! So we were talking about soccer earlier, Grant. Am I correct in saying that is one of the first clips that you had go viral was of a stand-up bit that you were doing on soccer? Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, that's off my last album, and that's definitely the most viral of any stand-up clip I've had. I've had other ones do well, but yeah, that one. I mean, it's actually kind of frustrating. Look, I'm very glad that it went viral, but so many people shared it, like including like Ryan Reynolds shared it, and none of them tagged me.
Wow.
None of them tagged me when they shared it. And so, like Ryan Reynolds sharing that clip got me like 0 extra followers.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
You got to start doing the watermark.
Yeah. Seriously. But yeah, no, that was a bit off my last album that came out in 2020, just about how people talk about like soccer's boring, and I'm like, yeah, but you make up points for other games, like
oh man.
So were you ever a soccer player at all?
I played soccer growing up. I played a little intramural soccer when I was in college and everything. I played baseball. I was more of a baseball player, so
all right.
Baseball guy. I know Ruel is a baseball fan at least. Did you play baseball, Ruel?
No, I played Wii baseball and the Mario baseball.
Oh, nice.
I put in some.
I was just talking about Super Mario Sluggers the other day. One of the greatest baseball games of all time. Okay, one of the greatest.
My nephew is a big baseball fan, and actually he's playing now. He's a varsity at his high school, and I just saw him in a tournament. I'm really excited. I have to announce this. Like, there was actually Division 1, 2, and 3 scouts at this game, and
wow,
super fired up. And yeah, I like to credit all his skill to me playing Mario baseball with him.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, are we going to go to an Indianapolis? What is it? The minor league team?
Yeah, the unfortunately named Indians of Indianapolis.
Oh yes, of course.
I would love to. So the Brothers Murph and I did that last year, and we want to make it a thing every year. But the Indianapolis team, they're on the road this year, so there are no games going on Gencon. Alex, it's the best, man. It's like I had no idea Victory Field or whatever. Sure. That was designed by the same architect that did Camden Yards. So it's got a lot of the same, got bricks, and it's a gorgeous stadium, beautiful, and we had the best time last year. It was just nice to actually be out in fresh air,
Totally, yeah. And it's just like 1 minute from the convention center.
Yeah, right across from right across from the Marriott in the convention center. Just walk right there. Oh, it was awesome. Actually, Thicker Themer, Amy and Maggie went with us as well, and a bunch of other folks. So,
yeah, they said Ruel was scoring it like a rolling right.
Yeah, so you guys know how to score games, right?
Oh yeah. I take the book. I take the book in my softball league, so I know.
Mike Murphy and I were totally doing that. And they're like, what is this? And for all of our new friends that were being introduced to baseball, we just said, this is just the roll and write version of the game.
That's awesome. So, sounds like a game in the making.
Oh, totally. Oh man, I'm all any kind of baseball game. I'm all in. Okay. I think I've got this figured out. I'm going to do one more test, folks, so give me a second here. We're going to do the sponsor bit right here. Let me know if you can hear this and see this, everyone in the audience right here.
Hey, everybody. This week's episode of the R&R&R Show is brought to you Priorities, a party game of absurd choices. And if you'd like to see how it works, hang on, folks, and we're going to play a quick round, and you can join in.
Okay. So hopefully that worked. I'm going to move this out of the way. So what we're going to do... I should... Grant and Alex, that we're playing a game before we do this intro, right? They let you know we're gonna play priorities, a little one round of priorities, super easy, fun little party game. Let me make sure my screen is up here. Let's see. So this goes here. Yeah, there's your look at priorities. What we're gonna do is well, I'll explain it when we play. It'll be a couple of minutes here, or in 1 minute. But otherwise, I believe we're good to go. Friends in chat, thank you again for hanging out with us. We're going to be doing the recording of the show right now, so hang out. We'll be back. We're going to be here. Y'all going to be back joining us for the post show in about 30, 40 minutes or so. Okay. Let me do this here. So many windows open. I don't know how I do this. This is insane. Way too many windows open.
Classic.
Here it is. Top 12 games at Gencon. Let's do that right there. Paste. Y'all are working with a real professional here, as you can see.
Hey, better you than me, my friend. That's all I'm saying.
There's a reason why Richard gave me the opportunity to host the live streams. This is freaking nerve-wracking, folks, especially when everything's going wrong in the back screen here. Thank you, Wes Lloyd. Yeah, spinning plates are always going up here. Okay. That's episode sponsor priorities. Okay. Top 12 games at Gen Con. We've got that up. And I believe we're good to go. Excuse me. All right. Grant, Alex, how you guys feeling?
Yeah, good.
Ready to roll.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to play the intro. It'll come up to us, and I'll introduce you all, and then we'll do the quick thing of priorities. Then we'll get into the list of games. All right.
Hey everybody, this week's episode of the R&R&R Show is brought to you by Priorities, a party game of absurd choices. And if you'd like to see how it works, hang on folks, we're going to play a quick round and you can join in.
And welcome, friends, to the R&R&R, or as I call it, the R&R Show. My name is Ruel Gaviola, joined today by very special guests, Grant Lyon and Alex Hart, fellow contributors here on the Rahdo Run-Through channel. Alex, Grant, how the heck are y'all?
Hey, good. Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Yeah. So happy to see you all here. Folks, we do an extended show live on Twitch. If you want to check out all the shenanigans that we were up to earlier, hit the show notes below, click on the link, and you'll see all that. But first, we want to kick things off with this wonderful game. I want to thank Clarendon Games for sponsoring us. We are playing some Priorities, and we're going to show you all how to play the game right here, right now. It's a fun little party game that you can order now. The show notes will have the link. There's a bunch of cards in this box here, and I've just randomly chosen 5, sort of randomly. And what we're going to do is we're going to rank them, because what's going to happen is we're trying to spell the word priorities. And to do that, you're going to rank these, and then the words, or the ones that you correctly rank, you're going to flip them over, and there's going to be little letters on these, and you're going to try to spell out the word priorities. It's a cooperative word game. And what Alex and Grant and I are going to do, we're going to rank these according to what we think Richard is going to rank them. Number 1 through 5, he likes number 1 the most, to number 5 the least. So the cards that we have are Alone Time, Woolly Sweaters, Artisanal Chocolate, Late Nights, and finally, Marvel films. So what do we think? What do we think Richard loves the most and loves the least? We'll start with 1 through 5. Alex and Grant, do you have any idea? Like, I sort of have an idea, but I don't know. What do y'all think?
He does live in sweater weather, but I wouldn't put that number 1. But I think that's probably a good thing, not a bad thing.
Sure.
He does like to go onto like streams late at night sometimes. I've been on streams with him late at night, but
okay.
You also you know him better than I do, Ruel. Like,
I don't know about the Marvel films. Like, that's the thing. That one is like, you either love it or you hate it. I've never heard him talk about it, but does that mean, I don't know, is that like he's only so on it? He doesn't care for them? I don't know. And Alone Time is like, for a content creator, it's like, actually, you kind of do value alone time. I don't know. He likes to go off on his trips in his trailer. So
yeah. I would guess Marvel films are up there, because I know he loves the MCU. Whenever we do the show together, he loves the MCU, and we talk about that. Late nights, I'm assuming he's a late. Like Grant, you said you've been on streams with him.
I've been on streams. Like I've been on. He used to join this. I don't know if you know Lance Meister has
yes.
and so I've been on there with like Rahdo decently late night.
Right.
It's not like 3 a.m., but it's like, it's like 11 or midnight.
Yeah. So, okay. So I don't know how he feels about woolly sweaters. Now, he does live in a colder area, like Grant was saying. So what do we think?
Hard to get super excited about woolly sweaters.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like he's more of a hoodie guy though.
Oh, good call. Good call. And I know he has a sweet tooth for sure. He's always talking about sweets, so artisanal chocolate.
Yeah.
What do we think is the most? What do y'all?
I would go either Marvel films or chocolate as number one, because those are both things that people feel pretty passionate about.
Yeah.
Does that sound good, Alex?
I like that.
Okay.
For sure.
Why don't we go with Marvel films? So, as you can see, folks, here you would write Marvel films, or they have a handy dandy little number here. So I'm going to write 130 because that's Marvel films. We'll do that number 1. And we'll go to the chocolate, which is a number 8 on the card. So we'll put 8. So now we have 3 left. We have Alone Time, Woolly Sweaters, and Late Nights.
I feel like woolly sweaters can be a little polarizing, right? Because it's like sometimes they're cozy, but sometimes they're scratchy, right? And if I haven't seen him wear a woolly sweater, and we live in the Pacific Northwest, I'm like, he probably is. I would say he's lower on the list of priorities for woolly sweater.
Okay, so we could probably put woolly sweaters last. What do you think about that, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I feel good about that.
But sometimes this game has actual bad ones. This was a tough round because there's no really bad things.
Yeah,
here.
I know.
Yeah. And, I said I picked them randomly. I sort of fibbed on that. I wanted to pick them, so it's a little tougher on us, right? We got to go difficult mode here. We're all gamers. So, Alone Time or Late Nights? What do you think Richard's more into?
I'm going late. I go Late Nights.
Late Nights at 3.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Yeah. Again, as a content creator, we know we've got late nights in us, and Alone Time though.
Look, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Okay. So what we have then? We have let's see, 130 Marvel films first. We have number 8 artisanal chocolate, 157, which is Late Nights. Alone Time 110, and then finally 95 woolly sweaters. That sounds good.
I'll say about Alone Time, I sure hope that it's lower on the list because I'm going to see him tomorrow, and so I'd hate for it to be number 1 on his list and then it's barging into his house tomorrow and be like, hope you didn't like your Alone Time.
Well, maybe you could bring some artisanal chocolate, Alex.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, great. Let's find out what Richard says right here. Richard, how did you rank these?
Okay, moment of truth time. I can't wait to see how close you guys get it. But this morning, as a thought exercise, I told my wife, Jen, hey, honey pie, 5 topics. How would I rank them? She nailed it. 5 out of 5. Didn't make a mistake. Let's see if you folks can reach up to that. And definitely, anybody watching the show, pause right now and write down in the comments how you think I'm going to rank those 4 before I reveal. Just for fun. But anyway, folks, I think I am pretty predictable, so I think there's no surprise that number 5, the least liked, the most loathed for me, is woolly sweaters. Just look at all these people. Do any of them truly look happy? They're scratchy, or even if they're not, they always kind of hang weird. I'm just not a fan. Give me a nice hoodie any day of the week over a woolly sweater. Blasphemy for some, I am sure. Let's see. What was number 4 on the list? This might surprise some people. Artisanal chocolate. Look at them. They are delicious looking. But dirty little secret time, given my druthers, I think I'd rather have a Snickers, quite frankly, or true blasphemy, a Hershey's Kiss. Oh yeah, folks, I know I have to rescind my British passport now that I could ever suggest such a thing, but hey, the heart wants what the heart wants, and that's the flavors I grew up with in America. But yeah, I will happily take any of these too. But anyway, moving on to my number 3 favorite thing, it's going to be late nights, although not for the reasons represented in any of these stock images off of the Google search. It's because after Jen goes to sleep, usually around 11 o'clock at night, that's when I can finally start watching all the shows and movies and YouTube videos that I want to watch that Jen doesn't care about. So it gives me a chance to catch up on my favorite pastime, even more than board games, which is consuming copious amounts of media. And I am nowhere near as cool as all this. I don't go out for the nightlife. I just lie down on the couch and binge watch all kinds of stuff, which is why the late night is very important to me. But in much the same way, these two are almost interchangeable. Alone time. Because it doesn't have to be late at night after Jen goes to sleep that I can catch up on all the videos I want to watch. I can do it anytime, day or night. Although, again, when I do it, I do not look anywhere near as cool as all these professional models who look like they're getting their best alone time. But to me, I think they're all incredibly bored. I'd much rather be watching a movie or a TV show in my alone time. From maybe my number 1 choice had to be the Marvel films, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, heck, Endgame is my number 1 favorite movie of all time. Although, really, I combine Infinity War and Endgame into one 6-hour movie because that's the only way to watch it. I love this stuff. I grew up make mine Marvel, reading all the comic books, and I live in a golden era that I get to enjoy all my favorite all-time characters brought to life beautifully on the screen. I am not sick and tired of this stuff, unlike some people. I think they're still knocking it out of the park. I mean, this week is the final episode of Secret Invasion. I'm so excited. But anyway, yeah, that's my number 1. So what do you think? I know Ruel got at least this one right?
We did get that one right. Thank you, Richard. Yes. So Marvel films, number 1. I was surprised that Artisanal Chocolate dropped all the way down to number 4, but the way Richard explained it, I guess it makes sense.
No, I say he's wrong. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me. He's wrong.
He loves the Snickers, man. What can I say? I'll just bring him a Snickers tomorrow so I can break up his alone time.
You're good. Yeah. So as you see here, friends, we've got Marvel films. We got correct. Number 2, we said Artisanal Chocolate when it was actually Alone Time. Number 3, Late Nights was right on the money. And then again, number 4, Alone Time. It's actually Artisanal Chocolate. And finally, last is Woolly Sweaters. So that's a round of priorities. And to
3 out of 5, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all, right? 3 out of 5 is excellent, I think. So Marvel films, Late Nights, and Woolly Sweaters we got correct. So after the round, you just flip these over. See what letters you got. We've got an S, a RTS. Okay, great. So this goes to us as a team, Alex, Grant, and I, and Richard. And then these two go to the game. So they have an I and S. So the object of the game is to spell priority first before the game does, and then you win the game. So that's how you play priorities, folks. Be sure to hit the show notes below for the link to check out all that great gaming. Thanks to our sponsor, Clarendon Games. And now we move on to the top 12 games coming up here at Gencon. Gencon 2023, folks. After this video hits YouTube, we've got about a week. So we're going to give you a bunch of games here that we're really excited about. And the way we went about it is these are games that are actually going to be for sale at Gencon. Yes, there's going to be a lot of demos. You'll see some prototypes and whatnot. We're talking about the ones that you can get right there at the show. No pre-order. Just go there with, cold hard cash or, your ATM card or whatever. Pay for it, and you got a great game there. So before we get going, Alex, Grant, anything that you want to talk about as far as your approach to the list today?
Yeah, this is just things I'm excited about. Some of them I have played, and some of them I have not played. That wasn't like that wasn't a requirement for me to have. Mm-hmm. Some of them I played a prototype at one point. Now I'm super stoked that other people can experience the game and the world because I think it's so great. And some of them are ones that I've just seen at, maybe I saw them at Gamma. Maybe I saw it at Origins. I saw the demo copy, but now it's going to be available and I'm super excited for it, to actually get to try it and stuff.
Nice.
For sure.
What about you, Alex? Any thoughts on?
Yeah. I mean, my list is I like to approach it almost like watching the trailer for a movie. You know, I want it not I want to know I don't want to know too much information about it, I think, because I don't want it to taint like the way that I go into the demo or the playing of it if I haven't played it before. So generally, you know, I'll do my research, you know, take a look and a lot of times I look at publishers or designers and kind of have a little bit of pedigree there. But you know, I'm pretty fast and loose with my rankings and things like that. I just if it looks cool and it seems like I would enjoy it. I played a bunch of games at this point, so I'm pretty good at guessing the things that I would like. So
Nice.
Hopefully you can get on the same page as that.
All right, cool. Thank you, friends. And why don't we jump into it? Grant, we're going to give the honors to you, my friend. We're going to kick things off with our number 12. What do you got for us at the 12 slot, my friend?
In 12, this was already mentioned to us earlier in a chat in the pre-show. It is Freelancers, a Crossroads game. So this is like the sequel to Forgotten Waters from Plaid Hat Games. This is, you know, not a sequel in the sense that it's like the same sort of game system, but it's not the same world at all. You know, this is, whereas Forgotten Waters was all pirates, this is more fantasy RPG themed. I loved Forgotten Waters for how immersive it was. There was an app, and the app had some of the best voice acting I've ever seen in a game and stuff. And so Forgotten Waters was a game where you just got to go on this epic journey with the people you were playing with. And I'm hoping that Freelancers sort of does the same thing for me. The other thing that makes me excited about this is Forgotten Waters is a great game, but also not a game that you can get to the table that often because it's a very long experience. Well, at least on BGG, Freelancers has a shorter playing time than Forgotten Waters does. And so, you know, whereas Forgotten Waters is like, they're saying like 4 hours a lot of times, this says like 90 to 180 minutes. So I would love a little bit shorter of an experience, but still that sort of super immersive, great voice acting, adventure storytelling type of game. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was excited to see this on your list, Grant, because it may have made my list too. Yeah, I mean, it did. It made my list. And, you know, the whole Crossroads system, I'm a huge fan of Dead of Winter and Forgotten Waters, just very immersive narratives. And, you know, you hit on the point that I wanted to hit as well, Grant. Like, it takes everything and makes it even more streamlined and quicker to play, which I think makes it easier to get to the table. Because you're right, Forgotten Waters, as much as I loved it, it was tough to get to the table because it, you know, the games tended to be a little longer. What about you, Alex? What do you think of Freelancers?
For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I loved Forgotten Waters as well. You know, such an immersive storytelling. As someone who, you know, dabbles in D&D as well, right? It's like a kind of an RPG light, which I thought was really fantastic. And so Freelancers was definitely on my list as well. Didn't quite make the top 3, but you know, I'm excited to kind of see this system evolve, right? You know, the Crossroads system has been something that they've been kind of tinkering with ever since Dead of Winter, right? So I can imagine that, you know, they're continuing to get feedback. They're just continuing to improve that system. And I like that it's a little bit more accessible, a little bit faster, a little bit more rules light. So all of those things just make it feel like it's going to be a winner for me too.
Awesome.
And one last thing I would note is that I have a blind relative, and so I'm always looking for games that I can play with her, my aunt, at like holiday gatherings. And I think these types of games, like Forgotten Waters, was a game that we all played together one holiday time because the storytelling is so immersive. You know, through audio, that it's something where, you know, even if you're placing a worker for them, they still feel involved in things like that. So I like it for that reason.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a wonderful thing to, you know, bring about. Have you played that game Nyctophobia, Grant?
No.
I think that one, it came out a few years ago, and it was literally the woman who designed it. It was for her, I think, uncle who was blind, and she created a game. It was like a tile laying game, but it was all the theme was, you were, in the dark or whatever. So you literally had to put these dark sunglasses on so you could not see, and you had to feel your way around this maze or whatever.
Really cool.
Yeah,
I should
pretty
definitely
cool.
check that out.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So, Alex, what do we got for number 11?
Okay, number 11. I've got one of the newest titles in the Oink Games line, the prestigious Oink Games line. It is Tiger and Dragon. So Tiger and Dragon is a new implementation of a classic Japanese game called Goita. And I really was intrigued by this one. Obviously, Oink Games does a fantastic job with all of their art and all of their production. That's kind of a bar that they've set really high to begin with. But I love what they're doing in sort of taking this traditional game and streamlining it and making it a little bit more accessible to the common person, because, these traditional games, a lot of times they're just passed down like word of mouth. Like, if you try to look up the rules for these types of games online, it's very difficult to find consistent resources about how to play, and everybody's got their kind of their own house rules and own traditions and things like that. So with these sort of like Asian folk games, I've played a number of different Korean card games and games with the Hanafuda deck as well, that it's difficult to know exactly if you're playing the rules right. So I really am excited to see sort of this a slightly more commercialized but really well produced version of this game coming out. And then, when it comes to the gameplay, I also think the gameplay looks really nice and smooth. It plays like that old school feel. I mean, you have those kind of like Mahjong style tiles that you're placing out there, and you're attacking and defending. There's a lot of really interesting player interaction. But yeah, it feels like a good mix of a rummy cube, a mahjong, sort of that set collection there as well. So I'm really fascinated by this one. I definitely think, it's going to look fantastic on the shelf and on the table as well. So really excited for this new one called Tiger and Dragon.
Yeah, I had never heard of this, but once I watched the video and everything that you the link here, I was excited. It looks like little mahjong tiles, and growing up, we played mahjong. I'm a terrible mahjong player, but I always loved playing with the tiles, and that just reminds you of that. You had mentioned a Hanafuda deck. I've got a couple of those decks. I still don't know any games to play with it, Alex. So I might have to hit you up.
Sure. I actually just ran an event recently where I taught Hwatu or Go Stop, which is like a Korean variant of using the Hanafuda deck. So I'm happy to teach you maybe at Gencon.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Grant, any thoughts on?
Yeah, I mean, this is literally not what I had heard of until right now, but I really like Oink Games, and so they are somebody that I would happily check out anything that they put out. And Deep Sea Adventure, Scout, they've got so many great small box games. So I'm excited to check this one out too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Awesome.
I remember, I think they were at Gen Con last year and they had a booth, but it was like equally as small as all of their games were. Like it was just like a tiny little thing. And I was like, this is thematic. It's very thematic.
I remember last year Scout was like the hotness. And I remember like people literally going out with like piles of Scouts in their heads. Yeah, like 10, 20 copies. It was crazy. But
it's like Black Friday. It's crazy.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Yeah. Looking forward to that. Let's move on to let's see, what number are we on? Is it 10? 10. 10 is after or before 11.
Oh, so yeah, you're 10.
My
right?
10.
Are we on you?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. My 10 is a game I've been really excited about since last year. I'd heard a little bit about it last year, but I got to meet the designer, Henry Audubon, last year. Wonderful gentleman. You may know him from games like Parks and Trails, which are two of my favorite gateway-style games. And he's got a new one coming up called Cosmoctopus. And I mean, you had me at the name alone. That's like one of the wackiest names ever, right?
It is also literally over your shoulder right now.
Yeah, wow. How did you see that, Grant? Folks, if you're watching this on YouTube, I will be doing a run-through it on my channel, Ruel Gaviola Tabletop Tonight. My wife, Michelle, and I are going to play. But Cosmoctopus, folks, this is the inky realm. So you've got this whole, like, cosmic octopus, and it's hilarious. And what you do is you're going to move along these tiles. It's an engine building resource management game. Gather resources, and then set collection. You're trying to get these cards out. And what ultimately you want to do is to build your Cosmoctopus there. And let me see if I can forward in the video a little bit. You're going to be placing the pieces onto your little player board there, and you're just going to go around, and each time you're going to grab a card, it's either going to give you the immediate effect, or it's going to be an ongoing, like, engine building effect, so you're going to get those resources. There you go. You can see placing the tentacles, and it's a race. The first one to get the 8 tentacles has, explored the Inky realms. They are the, master of the universe or whatever, and it's just so wacky. I love the theme is so, like, I was thinking to Henry Audubon. I know his games, Parks and Trails. I'm like, this has nothing to do with nature, but maybe it does. I don't know, but it's something I'm really looking forward to. I love his designs. They're very approachable. This is a game that's going to take about 45 minutes to 60 minutes, and it does have a solo and a cooperative mode. So I think that right there will get Richard on board as well. But that is Cosmoctopus. That's our number 10 on the list. Friends, any thoughts on that wacky game?
This was also on my short list. So it's
nice.
one I was very excited as well. It's one of my favorite themes just in any game. Like, to me, games, they're supposed to be fun first and foremost. That's why I like games. And so I love a game like this that clearly doesn't take itself too seriously, has some real strategy, but can still be played in under an hour,
Yes.
Like, it's still got that, and I do think I've gotten to be friends with Henry too, and he's got one of the most interesting brains in board games. Like, I really enjoy talking to him and having conversations with him because he just sees the world in interesting ways. And so I'm excited kind of for any game because he's thinking about stuff in a way that not everybody is.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I saw this one at Origins. I didn't get a chance to demo it, but I'm here for sort of this branching off into the cosmic multiverse space. I mean, we've got Cosmic Frog and Cosmoctopus now, so I'm excited to see what the next cosmic zoo animal is going to be. And I'm wondering, like, Parks, I feel like was kind of on the front end of this big like nature theme push in board games, just as like a trend. So I'm interested to see if Henry is going to continue to push the envelope, and if we're going to see a bunch more, cosmic animals. I think maybe like cosmic elephants or, I don't know. Cosmoctopus is pretty good though, so it's hard to beat.
It is. I will always vote for a cosmic pug, of course. But
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, cosmic pugs, folks. Okay, so let's see what Richard's got first at number 9.
Hey, gang. Okay, you're doing great so far. Grant, I gotta say, you have opened my eyes. Because I have to admit, when I first heard about freelancers, I kind of dismissed it out of hand because it's a 3-player minimum game, and so I can't play with Jen, so I'm not interested, even though I'm really intrigued by the setting, and I love the idea of app integration into games. But then, because you posted, I figured, okay, I'll look at the game a little bit more. And I found the publisher has a comment on Board Game Geek saying, oh yeah, by the way, we have 2-player rules and solo rules officially in the box. And I'm like, what? Why is that the best kept secret in board gaming? Why isn't everybody talking about this? Nobody mentioned in any of the videos that you can play this as a 2-player game and a solo game as well. I do not understand. But anyway, now color me very, very interested in a game that I would have taken a total pass on before. So, Grant, I owe you one. And then, Alex, Tiger and Dragon. Well, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great. I've never tried any of the games from Oink. This might be a good place to start since it's based on a game that's like 200 years old. What was it? I can't remember the name of the game. It said on Board Game Geek. Goita. Goita? Yeah, looks pretty, and if you like that sort of thing. And then, Will, what was yours? Oh, Cosmoctopus. Yeah, I talked about this last year when it was fundraising. I thought it looks really cool, great components, and they don't make a big deal about it because it's officially promoted as a competitive game, but it has solo and co-op rules as well. And that's what really pulls me in, working with you to stop the great and mighty Cosmoctopus instead of trying to help Cosmoctopus. What is it? No, I think actually, we are working together to stop the investigators that are trying to stop Cosmoctopus. I think that's what it was. But anyway, it looks super sweet and charming, so I am certainly intrigued by it as well. But next up on the list, now I'm done talking about yours, I have to say, folks, I am so incredibly excited for Barcelona. Now, this actually would have made the top of my list, except I've already played it. So I'm a little bit less excited, but it's still, even though I've played it now a few times with Jen, makes it into my upper echelon of must-have games from the show. This is from a relatively new designer, Danny Garcia, who comes from the video game industry like me. And mark my words, folks, in a few years from now, I think we're going to be talking about Danny in the same breath as Alexander Pfister and other really top-tier designers, because this game from Board and Dice is absolutely phenomenal. Such a sharp design, and also the prettiest game that Board and Dice have ever put out. I've already put up a run-through on the channel for folks who want to see it. I imagine we'll probably put a link for that down in the show notes so you can learn more about the game after we are done. But oh my goodness. The gameplay of it's a worker placement game, I should say, where each worker, depending on where you put it on the grid that represents the city streets of Barcelona, will activate 2 or 3 actions. The main thing about this game is every turn is either huge or monstrously huge, and it is so satisfying, so much fun to play. Just a beautiful design from a hot and upcoming designer, Danny Garcia, and that is number 9 on the list, folks, Barcelona.
Yeah, I just got my copy of Barcelona in, started opening it up, and it's sitting on my shelf of opportunity, but it looks wonderful, and I can see why it's generating a lot of early buzz for Gencon. Any thoughts on Barcelona, Grant and or Alex?
Who's the publisher again? Is it Board and Dice?
Board and Dice, yes.
Yeah. I think they don't have like a miss for me, so far. Like, there are games that are better than other ones or that fit your personal preference more or whatnot, but I don't think they've made a bad game yet. And so I'm definitely happy to check this one out as well.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I just see the cover art. The cover art is fantastic as well, So, that's always the thing that'll draw you in, right? And draw new players in as well. And I love a good worker placement game, probably one of my favorite genres. So
same.
Definitely excited to try this one out.
Awesome.
The one thing I'm not looking forward to is a bunch of white people being like, it's Barcelona. Do you want to play Barcelona?
Oh my gosh. You know it'll happen. You know it's going to happen.
Totally.
I just feel bad that I hope the demoers can nip that in the bud,
Yeah. Well, we will see if they can or not. Grant, why don't you take us on to number 8?
Yeah, my number 8 is Queen by Midnight from Darrington Press.
Mm-hmm.
And, like a lot of gamers, I'm a real sucker for table presence and production value and all that sort of stuff. And so Queen by Midnight just has this really, really cool production value. It is a deck building game, and it's like a battle royale deck building game, but there's this big clock tower centerpiece. And the clock tower, that you can roll dice through it. It tracks your turns. It offers cards that you can buy. So it's really part of the gameplay too, but it just looks so cool on the table. I also really love the theme in the game. The queen has died, and there is essentially a battle royale of princesses, this tournament of champions, if you will, and whoever wins that becomes the new queen. And so I think that's I like deck building in general. So this is not one I've had a chance to play at all yet. So it's really, my hype is really fueled by the table presence and the look of it, but it's enough to get me hyped.
Oh yeah, that dice tower. Oh man, we got to take a look at that.
Crazy.
Again.
Yeah, I need a slow-mo replay.
Look at
slow-mo replay. It's like the Mysterium clock with the Wingspan dice tower.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. Yeah, that's great choice. Awesome. I hadn't heard about this game until you put it on the list, Grant, and I noticed it's Darrington Press. They're the imprint from the Critical Role folks. So
they're the publishing arm of Critical Role, and I got a chance to see this in person at Gamma. Mm-hmm. They weren't doing like running games of it, but gave me a sort of a walkthrough of the game and stuff. So it was enough to get me excited about it.
Awesome.
Yeah. I have a friend who is demoing for Darrington Press at Gencon, so I'll have to see if I can get a sneak peek of this one.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Alex, let's move on to number 7, please.
All right. Number 7 Although it does have a nice looking cover similar to Queen by Midnight, the production value on this one is not nearly as big as Queen by Midnight because Infiltrators is my pick here. And Infiltrators is actually similar to a game like Regicide for some if you've ever played that. Infiltrators is a game that is played with only a 52 card deck, right? So you're playing it essentially with a deck of cards. And you add in 2 jokers, so you get 54 cards in the deck, I suppose. But essentially what it is, there's not a lot of information. It's a Taiwanese game, I believe. But it is a cooperative deduction game. I love cooperative games. I love deduction games. If you've ever seen my top 10 on YouTube, then you know I had several deduction games on there. But this one, it kind of feels like It feels like Regicide meets Hanabi, if that makes sense. You are everybody has a secret card that is the suspect that everyone else has to try to figure out, and you have to deduce all of the suspects in the suspect deck before you run out of cards in the regular deck. So it is a very kind of clever system. On your turn, you can ask for clues. You can give someone else a clue by saying, hey, does your card match this suit? Or does your card match this value? Or something like that. There's a lot of really clever things. I love when games kind of take an existing structure and ideate on it. And that's exactly what's happening here is you're taking a 52 card deck and seeing what kind of games you can make out of it. So really excited for this one. It's an import and just excited to see what it is like because I thought Regicide was fantastic. Hanabi's a great cooperative game. So really excited to see what this one pops out.
Yeah, you had me at Regicide, that type of, game where it's really a standard deck of cards, but what designers can do within those limits, it always fascinates me. And then you throw in the Hanabi on top of that. That's a really interesting mix, and I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, that's another one I haven't heard of, but you sold me on it. The way you described it sounded cool. I also, I like cooperative games. I'm not the best at deduction games, so I like when they're cooperative because I'm going to require you to do the heavy lifting.
There you go. Yes.
So that makes me intrigued as well.
100%.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Great choice. Moving right along, let's go to our number 6 is going to be my contribution to the list. I don't know, Alex and Grant, if you know how much of a Reiner Knizia fan I am. I am a huge Dr. K fan, the one and only good doctor. Huge fan of his, and I love the fact that he comes out with like 1,000 games a year because I can just pick and choose, and see, what's out there. There are a couple of ones that, are out there coming out that will be at Gencon, such as Raw, the new edition from 25th Century, which is amazing. But I decided to go a little different with my choice. I wanted to pick something that might be flying under the radar. This one's our number 6. It's a game called Pollen. Now, I'm really fascinated by this because this game is a re-implementation of a game called Samurai, the card game. Now, Samurai is my all-time favorite Reiner Knizia game. It's the first one I played, and that's the one I played first. It's all my one true love. It's an area control game set in medieval Japan. But then they had a game called Samurai, the card game, which took that game. It was basically an abstract sort of area control game and made it into a card game, which does set collection. And then this game, Pollen, redoes the theme. And from what I understand, it does a few different things as well. Streamlines a bit of the actions. But it's a gorgeous game. Now, I think it's definitely more approachable. And what you're doing is laying down these tiles. And then when the tiles line up, you're going to be adding these tokens. Let's see. This is Jenna from the Board Game Garden. Wonderful content creator. And as you can see there she is, placing down the tiles. And it is the same type of thing as Samurai, where you do want the majority. In this case, I think it's like bugs or, flowers or whatnot. It's pollen. So whatever the bees do, those things, and butterflies. And as you get those majorities, that's where you can take the cards and score them. And in typical Reiner Knizia fashion, I love this type of thing he always does. You're going to score 3 things, but the one that you score the most of is not going to count. You're going to look at the ones that you scored the least and second least on. And I always love that twist because it prevents you from just going full on onto one thing, right? Like you have to have that balance. And I'm really looking forward to this. again, I think it's going off of most people's radars because we're all excited about the new edition of Raw, which of course is fantastic, but I think Pollen is going to be a hit, and I'm looking forward to that one. That's why it's our number 6 for our Gen Con list.
Oh, yeah.
This has been sitting on my shelf of shame for like 2 months. So
Really?
you have convinced me.
Oh, yeah.
Convinced me to go get it off of there.
I want to play, man.
This game, I got a chance to demo this one at Origins, and it totally took me by surprise because with the theme, right? You see, this is like a nice little it's got little bugs in it and little flowers, whatever. It's very cute, right? And then you get into playing it, and I'm like, why do I want to beat these bugs? Like, what's going on? Like, what is going on? Like, I played this, and one of the tricky parts with the end game scoring too that really got me was if one player gets the majority in 2 categories, they automatically win. So it's like,
okay.
So if and that's exactly what happened is we were playing, and then like I was like competing with another player on one majority, and then all of a sudden the third player had the majority, and there was no way that we could overtake him, and so he just ended up winning. And I was like, I can't believe that happened. But it's like you really have to be paying attention to all the players at the table and all the different possibilities as the board gets built out. Plus, we also played with the fancy components that Board Game Tables adds in, All Play adds in, and those little extra components were actually fantastic in this game. So
awesome!
I'm definitely excited that this one made the list.
Oh, great! Awesome! I'm glad to hear that. I was, Samurai, the original game, it does have that. I think it's whoever wins the majority of 2 different things wins. So I'm glad they kept that in. I love that. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what Richard's got for us at number 5. Take it away, Richard.
Okay, this is why I love having different voices on the channel, because all 3 of you picked interesting stuff that probably would have escaped my notice. But Grant, well, it must be nice having friends to play games with, because you picked another 3-player minimum game, and this time there seems to sadly be no stealthy solo mode. So probably not for me, but I so trust and respect your opinion. I know the research you do. I watch your channel regularly. And so if you're putting on the list, it must be worth sticking out. Queen by Midnight. And Alex, Infiltrators looks like a very sweet, sharp little game. If you ever get a copy of it, bring it over, because I'd love to play it with you the next time we get together to film some run-throughs. And, well, of course you're going to pick a Reiner Knizia game. Obviously, I knew that. But what I didn't expect was that while everybody else, I'm sure, in all their Gen Con previews is going to be talking about the big Knizia games, your Raw 25th Century, and your, what's the other one? Oh, My Island. Everybody's going cuckoo for that. You go for the sweet little charming abstract game that no one's ever heard of, Pollen, and that totally tracks. Although, folks, before I get to number 5, FYI, this is just the beginning. We're talking about 12 right now, but did you know there is an extended edition of this show? If you hit that eye up in the top right corner of the screen, you can watch the R&R&R Extended, where you'll see a bunch of extra stuff, a lot of banter, chit-chat with the audience, and we'll be doing, at least I will, I'm not sure about the other guys, some honorable mentions. So I'll tell you about, I think, 7 more games that made my short list if you switch over the, the extended edition. You can do it right now. You're not going to miss anything. The eye is right there. Or you can follow the links down in the show notes. But with that out of the way, folks, let us now talk about number 5 on the list. It is Brussels 1893 Belle Epoque. And now, I covered Brussels 1893 a decade ago when it first came out. Very old video. You can still go watch it. I apologize for the shaky cam. Things are different now. But still, I gotta say, Brussels has got to be one of the greatest worker placement games of all time in my top tier, because the beautiful thing about this is every worker you place is doing triple duty. They obviously activate whatever action you want to do in traditional worker placement form, but they are also making a bid for future actions. They are a bid in an auction that is simultaneously going on, and they are also contributing to an area majority minigame as well. So as you're placing your workers out on this central grid, there is so much to consider. This is so far above and beyond the traditional worker placement experience. I'm blown away by it then, and now it's getting a nice deluxe reprint with all new art, a bunch of tweaked rules, can't wait to see, and an expansion worth of new content thrown into the box, the Belle Epoque. I got rid of my very beloved, very Oh man, I've had it forever. For 10 years, my 10-year-old copy of Brussels 1893 went to the Dice Tower West Convention Library to make room on my shelf for Brussels 1893 Belle Epoque. And if I were there at Gencon with you guys, I would push all of you out of the way to make sure I came home with a copy of number 5, Brussels 1893.
Wow, so Rich is pushing us the way to get to his copy of Brussels 1893. I'll admit, I've not played this one. It's been on my radar for years, just for whatever reason, never got around. But if Richard's this hyped about it, I mean, I need to check it out at some point. Any thoughts from Alex and Grant?
I will say my thoughts are that I love lists like this because I always learn about new games and I get even more excited about games that I already know about, right? So multiple of you guys are picking games that I'm like, yes, that was on my short list. And then also you guys are picking games where I'm like, what? How did that fly under my radar? And so I love hearing about different games that this is not one that I knew about at all either.
Yep. Oh, Alex, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I feel the same way. I was definitely this one flew under my radar, but it looks fantastic, and to know that Richard is so hyped up. I mean, he is much bigger in person than you would imagine, right? So I could actually see him being able to box me out on this one. I'd be worried about that. So if he wants to get to the table, I'll just make sure to take a different seat.
Yeah, I don't know if Richard plays basketball, but he definitely would, post you up and dunk on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting to the nitty gritty, folks. So we're at number 4 now. It's back to Grant.
All right. My number 4 is a game that I have played multiple times. I had the prototype of it, but I had to send it back, and I've been missing it ever since. It is Lunar Rush. This is from Dead Alive Games, and this is only, I believe, their second game. They're a small indie publisher. And so this game is, I will say, of my game group, I have never had them ask me to play a game as much as they've asked me to play this one. They are constantly being like, hey, when's that game coming out? When are you going to get a copy of it? Like, for real, we want to play that game again. I took a picture of it at Gamma. They had an early production copy. And I was like, they were like, oh, are you bringing it home? And I was like, no, it's not out yet. And they were like, steal that copy. Please steal that copy. So it's a game where you are putting resources on these spaceships and sending them to the moon. But you'll notice on the visual right now, there's a short track, a medium track, and a long track. So there is so much forward planning in the game, because the short track, you can only put a couple of things on it, but you can use those this turn, and you can build upgrades for your stuff. You can get more meeples, things like that. Whereas the long track, right, you can put 9 resources on it, but you're not going to get it for 3 turns. And so it is one of those games that can be somewhat punishing, where you make a mistake and you are good luck recovering from that. You know what I mean? But I just think it's super interesting how you are sort of planning for both now and 5 turns from now at the same time. So
yeah.
Wow.
I remember watching Kimberly's run through, and I was fascinated by this as well, Grant. I like that whole, what path are you going to choose? What are you planning for? That, planning. I'm admittedly, I'm not the best planner, so a lot of my plans are oh well.
This is one of the only games where I realized that a mistake I made right after I did it, where I was like, oh, I didn't think enough about my next turn, and I've blown it, and that just cost me the game. And I was like, yo, I gotta take a walk around the house. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna walk for a minute because I'm real mad at myself.
Oh yeah. This definitely. I mean, any of these games with that kind of action planning systems and things like that, you can see your doom impending as it's happening, and when you're powerless to stop it, it's just well, all right, I'm gonna go eat a snack or something. I need a Snickers.
Snickers, yeah. All right, great. Alex, what do you got for us at number 3?
All right, at the prestigious number 3 slot, my number 1 game that I'm looking forward to at Gen Con is a game called Wild Tiled West. Now, this game, I can only hope has similarities to the Wild Wild West movie starring Will Smith, one of the greatest films of all time, of course, as we all know. But one of the things that really got me excited about this game is, well, there's polyominoes. Love polyominoes. Isla Cats is one of my top games of all time. Love to, have that kind of Tetris-y puzzle, but it looks like it has a bunch of other things going on. I don't have a ton to go off of on Board Game Geek. I think there's blurry photographic evidence and a couple of rulebook fragments here and there. So, but in general, you are going to be there's going to be tussles against bandits. You're going to be building different buildings in your town. You're going to be collecting livestock and moving your mine cart and gathering gold. There's some D20s involved where you're rolling. So there's dice rolling, open drafting, polyomino, grid coverage, and things like that. And I am just super excited. Generally, it kind of reminds me when I first found out about Planet Unknown. I knew that I was going to like that game before I even played it, and this one falls into that same category as well. I mean, I also think it comes with a fantastic pedigree coming from the publisher Direwolf, who has done the whole Clank series and Dune Imperium, as well as the designer of those games, Paul Dennen, who's the designer of this one. So I really think, this one has a lot of things going for it. I've really enjoyed a lot of other Paul Dennen games. So I'm really stoked to kind of see where this one nets out and probably add this one to the collection, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. That's folks. That was our friends, our family plays games. Mick and Sarah always do a wonderful job. That was their playthrough. I am excited about this one. This was another one that was on my short list as well, Alex. But you got the nod this time. Well done. Polyominoes, you had me right there. That's all I need for a game, and I'm really excited to check this one out. What about you, Grant? Are you a polyomino fan?
Oh, yeah, big time. This one was actually number 1 on my list that I submitted, but you submitted your list first.
Nice.
So I am also very stoked about this one. I got a chance to demo it at Gamma, and it's really fun. They do a great job with the theme. I love the Wild West theme in general. It's very interesting the way you roll these D20s, and then you place those in specific spots, and those are the tiles you can draft from. So it's really interesting to where you're like, oh no, but I wanted that one, but you didn't roll that one, so too bad. And I love polyomino games, and being able to shoot bad guys and stuff like that is really fun. Yeah. So I'm also very stoked about Wild Tiled West.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's a pretty unanimous decision here then, and a lot of fans. So it's going to be a good one.
It is. Cannot wait to play it. We've got 2 more left, folks. Next one, I've chosen one that I think polyomino fans will like. This is my number 2 for the list. Is Neotopia. This is a game that I had no idea was around until, I started doing my research for this. There's not much on the web about it. But as you can see here, it's got beautiful components. It is tile lane, and you're going to be using these beautiful, round tokens. And I believe you're trying to, again, not much on there yet, but there are tiles, and you're going to be using these to, coordinate and set yourself up for points and whatnot. And as you check out here, it says building elements on 3 regions of the city, complete feature cards that you have. So, again, matching those patterns. But this is where it really gets interesting. And, we just talked about Reiner Knizia. And this one here, you're going to score 3 different things. You score regions, you have your 2 highest scores, but then your lowest scoring region, you're going to triple that score. So it's a really interesting, I don't think I've seen that in a game where you take your lowest and triple it. So I'm fascinated by that. And, it has tile lanes, so of course I'm going to be into it. And you're making patterns. This is the type of game that I know it's going to get to my table really quickly because my wife, Michelle, loves these type of Gateway Plus games. And this one here, 30 to 60 minutes. Right now, they're waiting on BGGs too. So this is right in our wheelhouse. And I'm super excited. It's got the whole, sci-fi element to it, which I love. And I'm super pumped about this. This is Neotopia. Had you guys heard about this one? Was this on your radar?
Yeah, a little bit. I talked to Robert from Arcane Wonders at Origins, who was very excited about this. I will admit, World Wonders is also coming out from Arcane Wonders, and I think that one was a little bit more on my hype train than Neotopia was. Both which have, tile laying and stuff like that. But Robert was very excited about both of those games in a way that I haven't seen him excited about, all the games that they are putting out. And so just his excitement got me excited as well. And like you, I love playing those Gateway Plus type games. That's probably the thing we play the most in our house. We love a game that has some strategy but plays in 45 minutes, because a lot of times there's we don't have game nights as much as hey, I got an hour before I got to go do this podcast. Anybody want to play a game sort of thing? Yep. And so, that's perfect for that.
Nice. 100%. Yeah. Gateway Plus is a huge pull for my channel as well, So, I mean, this one seems cool. I mean, it's like Cascadia in space or something like that, Nice. So I feel like that's going to play regardless. So I'm excited to see where this one nets out.
Awesome. Cascadia in space. I love it. Okay. Let's see what we've got at number 1. Richard, take it away.
Oh, very nice. 3 excellent choices, I have to say. Kimberly Grant did a great run-through on the channel for Lunar Rush. And I got to say, while I'm not the biggest fan of Pick Up and Deliver, she convinced me this is one that Jen and I would probably enjoy. And Alex, Wild Tiled West, is on its way to me right now. I'm hoping I can get my hands on it before the show starts so I can do a little bit of coverage, maybe. Although, unfortunately, it won't be here in time to play with you when you come down this week to do some more filming with me. And, Neotopia, if you hadn't snagged it, it probably would have made my short list. I am super duper excited about this one. I'm really a big fan of designer Orlando Saw. I've enjoyed quite a few of his games, and I'm always interested in what the publisher Meebo has in store. Okay, so those are some very good top picks, but the toppiest top pick of all, I think, has to go to Forbidden Jungle. I love the Forbidden series. Actually, that's not true. Forbidden Island, the first one, the gateway game from designer Matt Leacock, was always a little too simple for me and Jen, but the second one in the Forbidden series, Desert, is still in my top 20 games of all time. And that is saying something. I mean, it's got incredible staying power. Now, not everybody was a big fan of the third game, Forbidden Sky, although I certainly dug it. Although not as much as Forbidden Desert. But looking at Jungle here, well, actually, it really has vibes of the original Forbidden Island to look at it. So I am definitely, this is a big must-have for me. And if all goes to plan, fingers crossed, I am going to get a review copy of this before Gencon. And if I do, I will stop at nothing to make sure I get it played with Jen and filmed so that folks at the convention in Indianapolis will know what it feels like to play before they go pick it up themselves. Long story short, I am a biggest fan of Matt Leacock. I'm always up for what he's doing next, and I'm so excited to see the next chapter, but hopefully not the final chapter in the Forbidden series, Forbidden Jungle. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be very exciting. I am so jealous of everybody who's going to Gen Con. Have a good time, everybody. Okay.
And yeah, I figured this one was going to be on Richard's list somewhere. Doesn't surprise me. It's the top. I know how much of a fan he is of Matt Leacock and Pandemic and the Forbidden series. I can't wait to try this. I've always enjoyed the Forbidden series. I tend to agree. Forbidden Desert is probably the best one of the lot. But any thoughts from you two guys?
Yeah, I mean, the tin. Yeah, you gotta love the tin, gotta love the Forbidden series. I have played. I got burned by Forbidden Skies a little bit, I think, but I'm excited to see the newest installment. I think if it seems like it goes back to the DNA of what the original one was, I think that's a good move on their part. So excited to see where this one goes.
Nice.
Yeah, and I also agree that Forbidden Desert was the best one. Though I think Forbidden Island is one of the best games to get people into games, right? Yes. It's such a great cooperative game, has some strategy, but it's pretty easy to learn and stuff like that. Forbidden Sky was too hard, So, yeah, I hope this one's not as hard as that.
Nice. Yeah. All right. So, friends, there you go. Our top 12 games at Gencon. Be sure to hit the show notes below because we have an extended edition we did live on Twitch, and you can hear all the games that didn't make the short list. A lot of great recommendations there. Grant and Alex, thank you for joining me today, and thanks to Richard for joining via the power of video. Really appreciate it. And folks, be sure to check out all those links. I want to thank again our sponsor, Clarendon Games, the publishers of Priorities. Be sure to check that out. And until next time, we'll see you later. So long. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right, and we're back live. I totally forgot I didn't have an outro screen there, so Richard, if you're watching, please edit that in. I did the voiceover for you right there. Woo! Okay, so that's the show. We are in the post show now. We've got about 15 minutes, folks. So thank you for sticking around. A lot of great comments during the show. Appreciate y'all. Why don't we jump right into it? Alex, what are some of the games that didn't make the list of that we just shared?
For sure, yeah. I had a whole list of things, but I'll talk about maybe I don't know, a couple. One of them was Junk Drawer. Junk Drawer is one that's coming out from 25th Century Games, is another polyomino one, which I was like, oh, I'm glad that the universal American household item is finally getting its day, right? You know, everybody has a junk drawer, and if you don't, you're lying, okay? I thought that one, it just looks like a nice little polyomino, kind of like patchwork style game or something like that. I don't know a ton about it, but I thought, another polyomino game on my radar. I got to definitely check that one out.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else, Alex, that you got on the list you'd like to share? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give a shout out to CDSK. We were talking about it a little bit in the backstage, but CDSK is a new trivia game that is coming out from Randolph that via Hachette Games. It's a trivia game where you get to say what you know about, or you decide how much you know about the subject before you have to start answering the questions. So if you don't know anything about it, you only have to answer the super easy questions or something like that. So nice. I think that's a smart way to do a trivia game. I'm a big trivia buff, so I really am excited for this. And, shameless plug, I am running, hosting the CDSK game show at Gencon, which is on Saturday from 4 to 6. If you all are interested, I'm getting to do my best Steve Harvey impression, so I'm really excited about that one.
Nice. Awesome. What about you, Grant? Anything off your list you'd like to share?
Yeah, man. How many are we allowed to talk about right now? Because I got a lot.
Yeah, we've got 14 minutes. Just feel free to talk about what we want. I ask that you just leave me a couple of minutes for my list.
Yeah. There's so many that when I made my short list for this, I think it was 15, and I was like, I gotta pick 5. I gotta pick 5 from this. Andrew asked me to pick 5. So some of the ones that are the highest on my list are Last Light from Gray Fox Games. Yes. I am not somebody that plays, about 2.5 hours is my limit for most games. I don't play many games longer than that. If I've got 5 hours to play games, I want to play 3 games. I don't want to just play one game. And so the fact that Last Light is like a 4X experience that everybody says plays in an hour makes me really excited to check out. Yeah. Obviously, the production value is really cool, too, with the planets and the board rotates and spins and stuff. So there's a lot of things to be excited about. But mostly I'm excited for just the play experience versus play time ratio there.
Yes.
Is interesting to me. Pyramido is a game that I just covered on my channel yesterday. But it is one that if you are looking for that sort of welcoming type of game, I think is really, really great. King Domino has always been one of my go-to recommendations for people that are like, I want to play a game with my parents. What should I get? And King Domino to me is it plays in 20 minutes. It's really easy to teach, but it's still got some strategic depth to it. Well, Pyramido is essentially King Domino, but you can build up as well as out. So you are building 4 layers of dominoes by the end of it. And what you place earlier is going to matter for what you place later because you're still trying to create those color regions and those scoring icons and stuff. So I think it's really worth, it's I might even like it more than King Domino. Like I don't. It's hard to say because I've played King Domino for so long and I really love it. But like Pyramino being the new thing that I'm excited about right now. Currently, right now, I like it more than King Domino.
Wow, that's big. I'll be
huge.
interested to see how it stacks up to Moon River as well, which is like the new King Domino sequel. I haven't played it, but I've seen it around town a little bit, and so interested to see how they stack up against each other.
For sure. And I think this is Synapsis Games. They're still a pretty new publisher, so I think this will be one of their first times at a convention. So it'll be cool to see them. And then the last one I'll talk about is Redwood from Sit Down Games. So I don't know if I'm excited about this one because I don't know about it. It's like one of those ones. I think Sit Down Games is one of the best at trying new things in games, right? Every game they put out is like, you took a big swing. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. Like they have released games that I think are really cool and games that I'm like, I think this was an interesting idea that isn't that great to play. And so Redwood, you are photographers taking photos of wildlife, but you have to literally grab these like, these like things where you are trying to, I don't even know what, like they're like rulers and stuff like that, and you are having to put these things on the board and see if this animal is within your view, and so it literally has these like contraptions that you're having to put down and go, can I see that far? Is this in my line of sight? And so again, I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know. This is not a recommendation for me. This is like, I want to know if I want to check this out to see if it works.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds interesting. And I know that that same publisher did Magic Maze, I believe is their big one. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Totally that's what I mean. It's like they make very interesting games, and some of them are great and some of them are not, but they're always interesting, even if you don't love them.
It kind of feels like a Picture Perfect or something, like Picture Perfect with a little bit more juice to it. So interested to see that one too. That sounds cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like I haven't played it at all. I've just seen a copy of it like laid out, and I was like, this is different. This is for sure different.
Awesome. Cool. Some of the things off my list you all hit. Last Light was probably one of the ones I was really excited about last year. Actually, no, it was 2 years ago. I got to play, I don't know if they're still in chat, but Thinker Themer, Amy and Maggie, I got to play the game with them at Dice Tower West. And Grant, it is true. We timed the game. Roy Cannaday, the designer, was teaching it. We started the timer, 59 minutes exactly.
Yeah.
And we played an 8-player game. It blew my mind. Yeah, it blew my mind. I was like, what? And it's brilliant. What Roy did that's brilliant about the game, it's simultaneous action selection, and it's got all the good stuff you want in a 4X, but he's distilled it down, and it's going to be a huge hit. So yeah, great call. Yeah, Thinker Themer, including the teach, actually. So it's 59 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, totally.
That's amazing. I'm obsessed with simultaneous action selection right now. I feel like Planet Unknown does it, and I just played a new game called Fromage from Road to Infamy that does it. And I'm just like, it's so great. It makes the game 3 times less. It's amazing.
Yeah, and see, I'm a huge. People know that I'm a huge Twilight Imperium fan, but again, I'm getting. I think I'm getting to that age where, like, you know what? The 8-hour game, it may be a thing of the past, so if I can get that same experience in 59 minutes or so, like, I'm all for it. Yeah,
100%.
For real. Other games, let's see, you talk about Wild Wild West, Freelancers, y'all took all my picks. What am I going to do? Other ones that made my short list, Fit to Print, which I did a preview of last year. Peter McPherson, designer of Tiny Towns, and what's the other one? Wormholes. Great designer. This is his new, again, a polyomino game, but real time, and you're building a front page of a newspaper. So good. I absolutely enjoyed it. And then, so I'm looking forward to the final version. Also, there's a game called Sail. This is another one. I have no idea.
That was on my.
It was on your list. Okay, I have no idea. I just picked it because it looked pretty. It was gorgeous. So
it's a two-player cooperative trick-taking game from All Play.
Okay,
So it's like the 2-player crew. I'm in. I love the crew, so I'm already in for sure.
Nice. Awesome. Let's see. Other games. Race to the Raft. We were talking about Isle of Cat, or was it Isle of Cats we were talking about earlier? Yeah, that's also from Frank West over there. And that's the new. I don't know if it's not an expansion or it's not a sequel,
It's
but
like a spiritual successor.
Spiritual successor.
It's
Thank you.
like set in the same world but different gameplay.
Yeah. So I am excited about that one. I love Isle of Cats as well. And there was something called Emerged from Pandasaurus.
That was on my list of like the 15 I was interested.
Yeah. That was another one. I don't remember what it was. I just remember it being pretty. Grant, do you remember what it was about?
Yeah, so I don't know everything that it's about. One, I agree that it's very pretty, but there are basically these pieces, these land tiles that are emerging from the ground, that are emerging from the ocean, and so you are doing some dice placement and then building up these land areas across the board.
Okay.
So I don't know everything that it's about,
same.
But I like dice placement in general, and the color scheme is really pretty and stuff. And as the land tiles get built up, you put these other things on them for extra points and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's you were just reminding me. That's why I got excited because it looks pretty, but just the whole dice placement thing, I'm a big fan of. I'm a sucker for that mechanic. So
I will say, I actually unboxed it this morning.
Okay.
It is the longest board in board games.
Really?
Yeah, like it is. It's not wide. It is just like it's basically like you unfold like 5 sections of it. It just keeps going.
That's hilarious.
So it's basically the yoga mat of board games.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. No, I think Pandasaurus is coming out with a lot of cool ones that I'm excited about at Gencon. They've got a couple of. They're doing sea salt and paper. They're bringing that to Gencon, which is fantastic. I've seen a lot of stuff about After Us, which is like their new one with the Vincent Dutray artwork, which is fantastic. There's another one called R&R&R or something like that. I think.
Oh yeah.
Trick taking game. Team based. So I'm a big trick taking fan, so I'm excited to kind of check all of those out. I think they're doing good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and hey, folks, it is after midnight. It's one of those late nights, and I find myself actually editing the video from earlier today. And it's at this point I realize I completely forgot to send Ruel my honorable mentions. I had 7 more, so I'm just going to slip them in right now. All right, I know we're probably running low on time here, so I'm just going to very quickly blitz through my top 10 for the show. I've got them right here on the preview. By the way, if the guys didn't mention it, we're going to put a link for the actual Gen Con preview down in the show notes as well. Thank you, Eric Martin, as always, for doing such an amazing job bringing this all together. So what else was on my list? Well, right off the bat, there's Barcelona. I already talked about that. Overboss Duel. Ruel, you're responsible for this. When I found out from you that you can add the stuff from this into regular Overboss, I had to play it, because otherwise I was going to pass on it, because I don't like duels. And Lost Ruins of Arnak, The Missing Expedition, turning Arnak co-op, yes please, and Point City. I've already played this one, but oh my gosh, this game is so fantastic. Maybe the best game from Flat Out Games so far, maybe. Sagrada Artisans, an absolutely amazing legacy experience. Loved every second of it, can't wait to try it again. I've kind of sworn off escape rooms, but a Star Trek escape room I can play at home with Jen, oh my gosh, yes, I definitely want to explore strange new worlds without leaving my living room. And let's see, then Forbidden Jungle I talked about, Belle Epoque I talked about, and then I'm just so happy to see more roll camera, murder mystery films, yay! And Nemalia, Ruel, you know what I'm talking about. I almost thought this might have made your list. It certainly would have made my short one. It is so freaking good. I think this might make my top 10 of the year. The more I play it, the more I'm in love with it. And so there you go. Those were my top 10, leaving aside stuff like games that have been wildly available for a long time, like Earth and Oathsworn. But folks, I've got even more to say. I'm going to talk about 70 or so Gen Con games later this week when I film my monthly Rahdo ramble. So if you are a supporter of the show, either here on YouTube as a member or over at patreon.com, this month's ramble, just in time for the show, probably put up on Saturday, I'm going to dig so deep and go through, like I said, 70 or so games. So you supporters of the show can look forward to that. Okay, I'm sure you guys have other places to go, so I'll throw back to you now.
Cool. All right. We've got 4 minutes. So what we do, folks, we're going to bring y'all to another channel here on Twitch, another channel that's playing board games. So we're going to raid into them. Stick around because you get extra Rahdo points if you if you stick around with the raid. We've got a couple of minutes. Let me see. Oh, Goblin was asking, is Fit to Print the one that's like Galaxy Trucker? Yeah, it's got that Galaxy Trucker-esque, like, you've got real time. You got a minute or so to grab your pieces and then put them on your board. But I like it better than Galaxy Trucker. I know Galaxy Trucker is a huge, it's a long time hit, but this one, for my brain, it just works better. I was, many moons ago, friends, I was a journalist, and that's what I was. I went to journalism school, did the whole thing. So it really brought back those memories of actually physically laying out a front page, and then you have above the fold, below the fold, all that stuff. So it's got cute critters, so of course it's going to be a fun game. So check that out. Oh, Goblin says no Royale this week. No, you're correct, Goblin. Folks, I'm going to do a Battle Royale. This is where your little stream avatars duke it out for gold points. Let me see, Battle Royale, and Grant and Alex, this is a fun thing that we do for all the supporters of the channel. They get to duke it out to the death, and then someone's going to win 100 points, and they get to upgrade their characters and stuff.
Wow, this is awesome.
So bear with us for a few seconds here as they duke it out. I don't know if y'all can hear the music. We've got music here.
Amazing.
I don't know if the music's working today. Yeah, no music. So anyways, yeah, here they are duking it out. Goblin, I don't know. I'll fix the music for next week. But as you can see,
we got to do our own music.
Yeah.
What's a good, like, what kind of like music should we be playing?
Well, the music
the Fortnite
that's played,
theme song. I don't know.
It was from the Star Trek episode. Oh, there you go. From the Cable Guy. That's all.
I think maybe we should do that yakety sax or whatever. I'm doing that live. I'm doing that live, folks, and that's I probably shouldn't be doing that live, so I'm just gonna stop.
So let's see, who do we have left? It's down to Westloyd, and I think it's Goblin. They're duking it out. Here we go. So one of them's gonna.
Oh, he's got the. Oh!
Getting stabbed in the back.
Juke him! You gotta juke him!
Go! Oh! There it is.
Nice.
Congrats, Westloyd. You have won 100 gold to spend on your character. Don't worry, folks. You are all regenerated. You're good to go for next time. I'm going to get ready to send y'all on to the next channel. Let me find someone to raid. Who's playing board games, folks? Anyone? Looks like Eat, Crit, Survive. I think we've raided them before. We will send them on the raid. Let me get y'all ready. So Eat, Crit, Survive. They're playing Lockup. That's a wonderful game.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, based in the role player world. Let me get this ready. And as we get ready to raid, Grant and Alex, thank you again for hanging out. This has been a lot of fun. I hope we can do this again sometime soon here on the show. Have y'all back. Would love to do another list with you. But hopefully we get to hang out at Gencon next week or so. I'd love that. Before we sign off, one more time, can you let people know where to find you? We'll start with Alex.
Okay, yes. I run a channel called Might I Suggest a Game, a channel devoted to helping you find your perfect board game. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And I also am doing videos on Rahdo's channel, doing a Rahdo Learns, filming some stuff tomorrow. So keep an eye out for a couple more videos from me there.
All right, thanks, Alex. And Grant.
Yeah, you can find me on different platforms under Grant's Game Rex. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. I make silly videos about good games. And if you want to listen to my album, go check out my comedy album. Hit #1 on the iTunes charts. It is called Scheduled Fun Time.
Awesome. Thank you, Grant, and thank you, Alex, and thank you all for watching. Here comes the raid. We're going in 10 seconds over to Eat, Crit, Survive. Please show them some love. Let them know that Rahdo Run Through's channel sent you there. You get all kinds of extra points so you can do some more battle royales with us. And be sure to watch the video on YouTube, drop in tomorrow. Thanks, friends. See you later. Bye-bye. And I believe we are good to go.